Colorado has officially rejoined the Big 12 conference. Now, they used to be in the Big 12 until they left for the Pac-12 in 2011. And we already know that with this move, this pretty much is the nail in the coffin for the future of the Pac-12 football conference as we know it. But looking at the Big 12, this is a really huge addition. Not only are you getting Colorado to join your conference again, but you're getting them with Coach Prime as their head coach, which is going to bring a bunch of ratings to your conference, and they are going to be eligible to play as soon as next season because that's when the Pac-12's media rights deal expires. So we're going to see Colorado suiting up for Big 12 action as soon as next season. And they already got UCF, Cincinnati, and BYU who are going to be playing their first seasons in the conference. And now they add another team to the mix. And this isn't really a surprise. It was more of a matter of when it was going to happen versus if it was going to happen. And Colorado isn't the only school that the Big 12 has been in talks with to expand their conference. They also have interest in what they call four corner schools, which are Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah. And you have to expect that Colorado isn't the only team that's going to leave the Pac-12 for the Big 12. Arizona could be next up due to how well they do in basketball. And from a football sense, Jeff Fish has that program on the rise. So look out for Arizona to be the potential next team who could join in Big 12 conference expansion. And the Big 12 is being a little bit overlooked when you're thinking about these big power conferences in college football. We already know how big of a juggernaut the Big 10 and the SEC are, but the Big 12 kind of has become into a league of their own, because you got to remember that the Big 12 is also about to be as big as the Big 10 and the SEC. And at the time I'm recording this, there are reports coming out now that Florida State is looking to leave the ACC for either the Big 10 or the SEC. So of course, expansion is not going to stop. Colorado, they rejoined the Big 12, a conference that they had a good amount of success in at one point. And they're leaving the Pac-12 where they pretty much were not really all that relevant in. And this is just a better situation for the school. Now, are they going to be able to land the Arizona, Arizona State, or Utah? If you're the Big 12 commissioner, you probably should. The Pac-12 isn't pretty much going to be able to keep anybody around. They're struggling to get a new media rights deal, and it looks like that conference is on the way out. Now, for schools like Washington and Oregon, are you going to follow suit and join the Big 12 conference also, or is there some room for you in the Big 10? Now, Colorado joining the Big 12 conference, this isn't their first time being in this conference. They already have played in the Big 12 before, so it's pretty much like they left the Big 12 for the Pac-12 for a couple of years, and now they're right back like nothing happened, like they never left. And Coach Prime being in the Big 12 is going to put more eyeballs on him, because playing in the Pac-12, let's just keep it a spade. Unless you're UCLA or USC, nobody was really paying all that much attention to you. Oregon, Washington, Utah, of course, they're going to get a couple of eyes on them here and there due to the fact that they have been two of the most successful programs in this conference over the last decade. But you got to remember that USC was the biggest school in this conference. And once USC and UCLA walked out the door, things were already in motion for the Pac-12 to go downhill. There was no way any team was going to, in their right mind, remain in a dying conference when you lose your most important member. So there's no USC. Do you know how much money that took off the table in terms of what the Pac-12 could have gotten in their media rights deal. And then if you're ESPN, I mean, what interest do you even have in wanting to even buy the rights to broadcast Pac-12 games? There's not a lot of big name teams in this conference when you take away USC, and then UCLA's out the door, and then you just lose Colorado. This makes the conference even more unappealing to want to purchase the rights to show the games to a national audience for. So Colorado is now a member of the Big 12, and I think that they're not going to be the only Pac-12 school to make a jump into the Big 12 conference. I definitely think that Arizona is very well going to be on their way, and I think that Utah and Arizona State are most likely going to follow suit as well. If you are still a Pac-12 truther after this, you are truly a diehard fan, but there's no way a Boise State or a San Diego State is going to be enough to keep your conference afloat as far as it being considered a Power 5 conference. I'm pretty sure you add San Diego State and Boise State to the conference, Washington and Oregon, they're not doing anything but preparing their exiting strategy out of this conference. If you still think that the Pac-12 is going to be able to survive after this, I don't know what to tell you. Either you're just a Pac-12 lover and you got a lot of nostalgic memories towards this conference, or you're just being a little bit delusional. The Pac-12 is done. This move officially put the nail in the coffin for the Pac-12's fate. They don't have the luxury of being able to say, well, we got all these schools paid with our new television deal. No, you don't. You're struggling to negotiate it as we speak. So you can't get a new media rights deal. You lose USC, UCLA, and now Colorado. It's like, it's done. It just is. There's no way the Pac-12 is going to be able to survive after this. So Colorado is now a member of the Big 12 Conference, and they can begin Big 12 play as soon as next year during the 2024-2025 college football season. So let me know your thoughts on Colorado opting to leave the Pac-12 and rejoin the Big 12 Conference.